New survival mechanics for Starfield. It looks like this is going to be an option in 2024. Bethesda's latest developer blog includes this as a part of the game's new difficulty settings. Additionally, they've gone into some detail on what we can expect to see in 2024, and the blog post also includes a whole bunch of interesting stats on where the game stands. So the blog post is over on the official Bethesda Starfield website. Some of the information included here they did cover a few weeks back on their Reddit post. But this, I guess, is perhaps a little bit more official, and yeah, it also contains a bit more in the way of specifics. So in 2024, it seems as though Starfield is going to be the target of some pretty large updates. This is all going to kick off in February, after which they're going to release updates for Starfield every 6 weeks. They say that these updates will include everything from quality of life improvements to content and feature updates. The most interesting one perhaps is the one mentioned previously, which includes new ways to travel. Now, that could mean absolutely anything as discussed in the previous video, and to be perfectly honest, I'd like Bethesda to be a lot more specific on this one, as I think they're kind of leading people down a garden path by just saying new ways to travel. At any rate, that could be something very good. It might not be, we'll have to see. Elsewhere, they're talking about some of those other new features. What could these be specifically? Well, they include access to city maps for the major cities. Also, they're making some changes and improvements to ship building. They say they'll be expanding on ship customization with ship decorations, new ship building options, and more. Now, the ship decoration options is likely to be a nice one because obviously right now you can't really decorate or customize too much on the interior of your ships, not beyond the default modules anyway. So the ability to fully decorate the interior of the ships will really allow you to personalize them and make them feel even more like a home. Beyond that, they say they're looking at additional gameplay options. Now, the curious thing here is the whole aspect about survival mode. This is something people have been asking for quite a while. It's something people wanted for Skyrim for a long time, and eventually Bethesda did actually deliver that. Now, it's always been a bit of a mystery as to whether or not Starfield will actually get this, and we're still not that much closer to actually getting a specific answer. However, they have kind of touched on this aspect, and it's going to be, at least it seems, to be connected to the game's new difficulty settings. So whilst nothing is confirmed just yet, what it seems to be like, at least my take on this and reading between the lines a little bit, is that Starfield is going to offer granular difficulty settings, and you're about to customize different parts of your experience. Again, that's just my take. Your take may be a little bit different, but here is exactly what they've said. We're also excited to be adding new gameplay options. With these settings, you'll be able to alter your gameplay to allow for an easier or more challenging experience that will expand beyond our normal difficulty setting. These will allow you to easily customize carry capacity, cargo access distance, ship damage, vendor credits, how you suffer afflictions, new survival mechanics, and more. So yeah, my take is that's going to be a granular difficulty, and the new survival mechanics is an interesting one. For example, will this allow players to use the difficulty settings, the granular settings, to effectively create a survival mode? We do know from information that Todd Howard has discussed in the past that, planets were a little bit more difficult, or perhaps far more difficult, earlier on, and they kind of dialed that difficulty back. So just maybe this will allow players to make planets a little bit more dangerous and hostile. So that's definitely a new piece of information. Elsewhere, Bethesda reiterate what they've spoken about in the past, that in the new year, the early part of the new year, the launch of Creations will be coming to Starfield. Creations, of course, is effectively their creation club, and this is being used and tested out on Skyrim right now, where players are not too happy, I guess, about having to pay for certain mods. Whether or not Bethesda implemented this exact same method when it comes to Starfield remains to be seen, but at this point it seems pretty likely. Additionally, of course, the creation kit is also going to be on the way. This will really allow modders to create pretty much everything they really want to. And finally, there's a very brief mention of Shattered Space, the first expansion for Starfield, and yet they do mention the first major expansion there, so it sounds as though they've got further expansions planned later down the line. The whole blog post here then goes into some detail of what we can expect to see in the coming year, but is suitably vague, not really confirming or denying anything. So whilst we know that yes, Starfield is going to be getting more content, we're going to have to wait to see exactly about the specifics. Talking about specifics, however, Bethesda did release these stats on Starfield in 2023. They state that so far to date, Starfield has had 13 million players, and that out of this, 22,200,000 player days have actually gone into the game. And they say that equates to around about 40 hours average playtime per person. There's some additional interesting stats here, you can see them on the screen right now, but I will link the entire blog post in the video description below, so you can head on out there and check them for yourselves. Other than that, that brings us to the end of this information on Starfield. So thanks for watching, and do check out these other videos. I'll catch you soon.